Welcome to Modern Musings, conversations with the maiden, mother, and crone. Looking at ourselves and the world through the lens of the 21st century. Hey everyone, and welcome back. I hope everybody had a safe new year. Can you believe that it is season 3? Oh, before I go on even any further, I'm Amber Garvin, and I'm here with my co-host, Kristen Hessler and Cindy Murray.
Hello.
Hey. So, back to that. It is season 3 of Modern Musings.
Yay!
Yes, we're in January 2023. We made it. Well, you know what I mean. A new year, new problems. No, new year, new goals, new problems, new loves. And, hey, I'm getting married this year. Oh, my goodness. Wow. So, speaking of family and such, our topic this week is weird things your family does.
This is really appropriate because we all just got over Christmas or whatever.
Yeah,
so probably spent lots of time with your family, maybe.
Yeah, lots of weird family things going on.
You're probably done with them now,
right?
So yeah, now you're sitting back in
going, why did Uncle Jess do that?
So, definitely. So the topic is weird things your family does. And I was just sitting here thinking about, like, just growing up, all of, like, the weird sayings that my family had and the weird stories that my family had. Like, every Christmas, we'd get together and my uncle would always tell the story about when he and my mom were little. And they used to fight all the time. And it was like a competition on who destroyed what each other's stuff, that they destroyed. So that was like the weird stories of.
So were they trying to destroy each other's stuff, or was it like accidents happen and then they're mad?
My mom was like 10 years younger than my uncle. So my uncle was in high school.
Okay.
And so it was more on the part of my mom wanted to mess with, wanted to be around my uncle and touch his stuff and end up breaking it. Yeah. So then my uncle in turn, being a boy, would break something of my mom's. And so then it was kind of unintentional on my mom's part, but they used to laugh about that story all the time. Mm-hmm. And then my grandma with her old wives' tales and everything like that. And every time her nose would itch, she would say, "Somebody's coming." And then that would be it. Like, then it'd be just going, "My nose is itching. Somebody's coming."
Yep.
And and then my mom always has like these weird noises, especially if we're playing games, and she'd always have these weird faces. So it's just fun to think back of all the weird things that go on around the dinner table or the game table, so to speak, because my family's really big on playing games. What about y'all?
And I don't think you realize that your family is weird or does something weird until you go and experience someone else's family. Yeah. So you're probably going to enjoy,
Well, Kristen experienced my family.
Right.
She knows the weird things.
And I never really thought of anything weird that y'all did. But when you're talking about your uncle and your mom's story, it totally reminded me of this time that my brother, we are also 10 years apart. I'm the older one. And so my family, a weird thing is that we have a sign, and I'm not going to say how we acquired it, but it's not,
a road
legally
sign.
Acquired. Yeah, it's a road sign. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But
it was gifted to us.
Yeah, it was gifted to us.
We did not steal the road sign.
Of the road sign that we should not have, because that's like a federal
We did
thing.
not. No, it's not federal.
Okay, well, whatever.
Local,
sure,
maybe, I don't know.
My mom always said, don't tell people about the sign. Because we weren't supposed
we
to
did
have
not
it.
steal the road sign.
We didn't steal it, but we owned it.
Somebody put it on our...
It's highly coveted at our house. But anyways, the road sign was perfect for holding a puzzle because it's like this big flashing like metal. And I remember putting a puzzle together on my floor in my bedroom when I was like 14, and my little brother came in, being like 4, and I had just finished or almost finished this puzzle that was not a simple puzzle. It was very complicated.
Complex.
And my brother came in and like stood on it and shuffled his feet and like destroyed the puzzle. And I was so upset because it was like you did like the hat dance.
My little cousin Stephen and Lauren did similar stuff like that too.
So I totally shoved him back in his room, and then I grabbed the first thing I could and I snapped it in half, which is one of his balsa wood airplanes.
Oh, I never heard that part of that story.
Of course you didn't. Statute of limitations.
So, I never wanted to sit next to my cousin Lauren growing up. Well, Stephen either, but mostly Lauren. Stephen was a cheater during games. So if they're listening, my whole family cheated. But anyway, I never wanted to sit next to Lauren because I usually for Christmas would get something new and cool from my mom, like a new purse, new shoes. I'll tell the story of the new shoes. I got some suede moccasin type shoes for Christmas one year, loafers, something like that, and they were fringy and they were gorgeous. And then of course my cousin Lauren, who's younger than me, wanted to sit next to me, and every time she sat next to me, something food related would end up on my clothes. So I had these brand new shoes, and of course we sit down to eat, to dinner or whatever, or play a game or something, and I look down and all of a sudden there was something gooey and sticky on my brand new shoes. And so that's why I never wanted to sit next to her growing up, because she, wanted to sit next to me so bad, and then all her food, she would spill something on me. I'd get covered in water. Something would end up on me. And I was devastated because I had those shoes for like a couple hours. Yeah.
Wow.
So Lauren, if you're listening, I'm still thinking about those shoes.
Oh, poor Lauren.
Every little cousin or little sibling, they're just doing it because they look up to you. And,
and
they're like obsessed with you, because I was probably 10 years younger than my cousins, and I followed them around too.
Oh, yeah, I did that too when I was little. Like my cousin Stephanie, Lauren's mom, she would bring all of her. Okay, I have another story to tell then, because she looked up to my mom. So she always brought her boyfriends over to the house for my mom's approval. And one day I was painting. You know where this is going, right? I was painting, and she came over with her boyfriend. They were going on a date, and she was wearing all white. And she tells this story also during Thanksgiving or whatever. And and I wanted her to paint with me. And I kept bugging her and bugging her and bugging her. And she was finally like, "No, Amber, I'm not going to paint with you." So I got so mad that I threw my paint on her white outfit. So that is another story. Like the shoe story is told about Lauren. The paint story is told about me. And then my mom and her brother's story, that's always told like every holiday. So yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So what are some weird things that our family does? Whenever we were talking about this topic, I was thinking weird things your family members do, not your family as a unit.
Yeah. That's what I was. Well, I was thinking things as a as a family unit. Well, I don't know. I was thinking more along the lines.
I don't know. It's just like weird traditions, maybe.
Weird traditions, but also like okay, so
the sign or whatever.
The first thing that I thought of,
the sign. It's weird. Yeah. How many families have a highway sign in their garage
that they do?
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing that I thought of though was Kristen and Steven doing their little cat fight.
Oh, right. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah.
So they stand in front of each other, and this is really hard to describe because But you have to think about the way cats kind of paw at things.
Declawed cats.
Declawed cats. They just sit there and just bat at each other. And they do it as a fun thing, not a mean thing.
It's
an
affection thing.
Yes.
Like
and they go,
meow,
meow, meow, meow. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
That's one of the first things I thought of. That's kind of a weird thing. Another weird thing, it actually started with our friends, but it kind of involves the family too, is the shing. Do you remember the shing?
Oh, right.
So you
here.
take two fingers to the sternum. Boom, just like a tap. Not hard.
Yeah,
but
I've had that done to me, so I'm picturing.
It's never-ending game of tag.
It is. It's a never-ending
of
adult tag.
Because you got to deflect and block.
Yes, you got to know what's
reflexes,
coming.
Pay attention. You're catching someone when they're least expecting the sternum, or when they can't defend themselves, like when their hands are in the dishes.
And when you hit them, you go shing. Yes.
Yep.
Shing.
Is it? That's kind of like
it's like popping somebody on the back of the head, or or popping a towel at people, or it's kind of that kind of thing.
Very
turd-like. I get what you're saying.
What?
Very turd-like.
Well, yeah, now.
Yeah,
definitely.
Everyone has that turd cousin.
Yes. Well, Stephen Wally. So, hey, Stephen Wally.
Y'all were talking about like new family, new weird things to learn. Well, I've spent like a couple of Christmases with Jason's family now, and one weird thing that his family does, which I thought was interesting. Well, there are a couple of things I can mention, but one is that they have a tradition of putting fake mustaches on and taking a family picture by the Christmas tree.
Oh, how fun.
And
I like that.
Jason's aunt sends mustaches every year because she's the one that wants the picture. They take it. Jason's aunt and Jason's dad are brother and sister, and so they each send each other mustache pictures.
How funny.
That's cool.
Like
See,
family,
I like that.
Yeah.
Like, I know the word we're saying weird, but it's more like unique.
Quirky.
Quirky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not necessarily like in a derogatory way, because weird to me is like fun and
well, we are weird. We're nerds.
Yeah.
I embrace my weirdness.
Yeah.
So,
I like those things because I go, because we like traditions and stuff like that. Like,
and the more unique they are, the better. Yeah.
Yes.
So don't take weird.
Cool.
Don't take weird as a derogatory, because I am proudly weird.
Oh, me too.
Yes. So another thing that they do, and I don't think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I know I've told y'all outside of the podcast, is if they give a gift outside of like Christmas, birthday gift thing. If it's just like a random thinking of you gift, they say Happy Saint Swissmas Day. And I don't think that's not like a real thing. It's just a family tradition that they do that started with Jason's mom's family and has branched out to all of their friends too. So I know, like I was talking about a while back, getting you guys something, and y'all are like, well, you don't need to get us anything for Christmas. I'm like, no, it's a Saint Swissmas Day. Swissmas Day.
We were talking about Swissmas
Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Swissmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. I was thinking about, actually, when you were talking earlier, you were talking about your family playing games and stuff, and it made me think of my son. And I don't know, we have this weird thing. He used to play this game called Hexen. All you game nerds probably know what it is, but it's just a, kind of like this puzzle solving adventure video game, first person video game. And there was a character that if you're walking along, like if you bumped into a wall, or if you were trying to find the secret passage and it wasn't there, the character would go, and sometimes you had to go along and just bump the wall to figure out where the secret passage or the switch that opened the gate or whatever was. And so my son would play this game for hours, and it would just be like,
Yeah, when he'd get to a particular place where he knew there was something missing in the game, he would just walk around the walls going,
Yeah, and so it became this thing in our family where if somebody goes, then we all start going,
Oh my gosh!
It's weird.
Those little like phrases or words or sounds, and they get stuck. Like
turn around, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah, we'll do that. Like if someone gets lost while they're driving, we'll repeat that from the Daytona game. And the other one that I was thinking of, I don't even know like what it is, but there was a character, like a non-player character in a video game that my brother was playing, where they would go, "Hey, hey,
hey!" Yes,
yeah. And so
that was Machine Head.
Well,
yeah,
it's like whenever you and I say weird, Kristen, we say veered.
Isn't that
veered from Austin Powers Goldmember?
Yeah, you
my
just,
mom
being around people, you start picking up like
inside their
jokes.
weird sayings. Yeah, my mom had a saying like whenever we would play games, and it was I don't know if y'all have seen the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God,
but my mom had like a taunt that she would do when we would be playing a game, and she would like put up her pointer finger and go, "It's the claw. You're scared of the claw," meaning that she's winning. She would be like, "You're scared of the claw." And that's from the movie Liar Liar.
We used to quote all Monty Python movies. Your mother was a hamster and your father smells of elderberries or whatever.
My parents were big on
not dead yet.
quoting like aliens, like, "Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
We're
gonna die.
Game over, man. I don't. Yeah.
That's exactly
Yes. I can't remember that character's name. I know the chick was Vasquez, but I can't remember the guy.
What was his name? It was played by Bill Paxton.
Yes, he's hilarious. I love him.
Yeah.
Well,
R.I.P. Bill Paxton.
Yes, I know. He was a great actor. So
IMDb Bill Paxton.
Yeah. Another thing, another thing that kind of goes in my family, picking up themes like that a lot and stuff, is the Darth Vader theme. And this actually became so bad. I don't even know how we got started that, but it would dun 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 dun, and my son would sing it to other noises. So the thing would go huh.
They just kind of morph and meld.
It did. It really did. But it was so bad that my mom actually made that her ringtone for my dad on her cell phone. So that just kind of gave it a little more weight, But it was really funny because he would make all kinds of weird.
Yeah.
Yes, it's hilarious. So
whatever weird sound.
It's really weird. Whatever weird sound, it would morph into that piece of music. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, very nice.
I remember just to add to like the singing and stuff like that, because there are singing families and then there's non-singing families.
We have all kinds of singing.
And
mine was
you kind
a
of
singing
discover
family.
which families are the singing families and which ones aren't. But I remember when I was a little kid, when we were driving to Ruidoso, it was snowing, and so we were singing like in a chord.
Yes, we were making a chord. Somebody would start out snow.
Okay, my family wasn't that kind of a singing
No, we would.
Family.
It would just because there was three of us,
like a weird...
and somebody would start it, and the other two people would fill in and make a chord. We're weird, And I was trying to think of the other thing that we sang. Oh, the rooster song. Yeah, the chicken song. Yes, yeah. My husband used to sing songs to Kristen in a chicken cluck, so it would be bok 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 bok, or and it could be anything from Chopin to a rock and roll song or something or whatever. You never knew what it was going to be, but it was sung as a chicken. So that was a kind of a silly one.
So I guess my family wasn't a singing family. Mine, now that I'm like thinking about it, like we did do singy things, but mine was more of like a funny voices family. And y'all know me, I like to do funny voices, but my mom had different personas that she would take on. Like she would be a vampire, and then she would chase me around the house pretending to be a vampire, and she'd go, "I want to suck your blood," and then she'd be like, And like she used to scare me, and I'd like start crying. Where's my mom? I want my mama back. Yeah, and then my mom also had like a thing that she did with her hand. She would call it creep mousy, and she would try to tickle you with creep mousy, and she'd be like, "Here comes creep mousy," and she'd make a weird like gesture with her hand. And when I was little, I would always try to beat up creep mousy because I knew creep mousy was going to tickle me. But yeah, like we were definitely a funny voice family. Like my dad had a bunch of funny voices as well. So we were definitely more of, instead of a singy family, we were a funny voice family.
You're talking about scaring people, and Kristen's got a voice thing too, but I want to do the scary one first. My son loved to scare people, and he would always hide around a corner and wait for somebody to walk by, and then he'd jump out and go boo. And that was his thing all the time. And I have a really high startle reflex, so or yeah, whatever.
Papers flying.
Like I would throw everything in the air, and it's crazy. But he would do that all to me, his cello teacher, anybody. The more
everyone at school always knew Stephen as the one scaring people.
Yes, because he did. Because the more scared you got, the more he was going to do it to you. Yep.
Which is really funny because I always tried to do that to him, and I've never scared him.
No,
ever. Unsuccessful. He does not jump up. He just turns and looks at you like,
yes.
Oh my gosh, what? Jason does the same thing, but he also works at a haunted house, so
he's good at it.
Yeah.
So not scary voices, funny voices,
funny
voices. So my dad, every year at New Year's.
God.
Well, okay, let me take it back just a little bit. My mom does little crochet swap. I don't know. Did you make the little thing, or would someone else?
No, somebody swapped that.
It was
to
like
me.
a flower.
But he didn't even start with that. It started with the.
But yeah, it always started off with
reading the Scotch bottle.
Reading the Scotch bottle in a Scottish accent.
Oh, yes.
After he'd had a few shots of the Scotch. Yes.
And then one year, because this is like a New Year's tradition, Christmas decorations are still up. My mom had this poinsettia towel holder. It was like a crocheted poinsettia. And it had a plaid, like a clan.
It had a clan tartan plaid type
hand towel hanging from it, and my dad would always take that and clip it to his belt.
No, it was like his cod piece.
Yes, and then he would read the bottle of Scotch.
Yeah, I remember being over one year when he did that.
It was pretty bad.
It was funny though. It was always well encouraged by the other guests.
Oh yes,
who came
and yes. It was a very bad Scottish accent. Yes.
See, my family also had like a weird tradition of like if we went out to eat, it was always somebody's birthday. Like my dad and my mom especially would try to like catch whoever we were going out to eat with and telling, especially if it was at a Mexican restaurant, telling that it was their birthday.
Oh, gosh.
And then of course there'd be because there's a restaurant in Vernon where I grew up called Lupe's, and if you said it was so and so's birthday, then they would bring like a whole band out and they would make you wear a hat, and they'd like do this whole like singing thing, and the whole restaurant would sing. So they were always like trying to catch whoever they went out to dinner with and like embarrass them by it's your birthday. And of course, they used to do that to me also, because I remember one time we were at a Chinese restaurant and my dad did that to me, and I had to stand on the table. And they had like a whole like thing that came over the loudspeaker that was like, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you," and it was like, "La da 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 da," and it was so embarrassing.
I have always told my family that if you ever do that to me, I will get up and walk out of the restaurant.
Okay.
Because I hate
Noted
them. So
not to do
do
that
not
to
do
you.
that to me. I hate those. I think they're obtrusive and obnoxious. I don't want to see other people do them either, because I'm trying to eat my dinner in quiet peace with my family, and I don't want to hear all these people singing this loud, lousy rendition of Happy Birthday or whatever. You know? And I've actually sat through it twice, that it was done at my table. Once to Kristen because she requested it for her birthday, and I've
never had it before.
She'd
and
never had it because I didn't
get it done, and so I was like,
and so she wanted it. I don't even know how old you were.
8.
Like,
I think I was my 7th or 8th birthday,
and so I allowed it to happen, and I just sat there gritting my teeth. And then the second time that it ever happened, it was done to me. And I would have gotten up and walked out of the restaurant, except we had invited 2 friends, our next door neighbors' friends, for it was my 40th birthday. I remember this very distinctly. And I didn't
She forgot to tell him not to.
I told my friend, but she didn't tell her husband.
Yeah.
And he thought, oh, it'll be cool. I'll just go do this. And so he told him. And sure enough, they came over and sang to me for my 40th birthday. And I was just like, oh, shit, what do I do? Oh.
Uh-oh.
Bleep that.
Yeah.
I figured out how to bleep on the podcast. So.
Nice. Well, that was like one of the last great memories I have of spending with my dad is that, my dad's birthday is in December, and it was March, and I was finally getting around to taking him out to dinner for his birthday. And my mom and my ex-husband was there, and I didn't even know because my ex-husband, when he was with us, he got in on the game too, and so my ex-husband was gonna get my dad, so he snuck off and told them that it was my dad's birthday. And what made it even funnier, what other than the video and everything like that, and I took a video of it, but what it made it even funnier is that I posted it on Facebook, and everybody thought it was my dad's birthday. Wow. He got so many messages and calls 4 months after his birthday telling him, and it was people that had already told him happy birthday on Facebook for his birthday.
They don't pay attention.
Yeah, I know. So he got so many calls and stuff from his co-workers and everything. Happy birthday, Jimmy. and that was just the funniest thing ever.
I got that keeps on pranking.
Yeah, I got my dad really good, and he thought it was hilarious because I posted it on Facebook, and then everybody again 4 months later, happy birthday. And it was just it happened the March. My dad died that July, so it was just one of the last funny times that I had with my dad. So, I mean, I haven't done that to anybody since, but it was just something that my parents liked to do.
Yeah, yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. So, Kristen, you have any fun family stories from your newly married, from Travis's family?
Of weird things. I mean, we're just weird.
Anything extra odd or extra quirky?
The weird thing about them is that they just aren't close like we are. So there's not really any weird things that they do because
no quirky things.
They don't really spend time together like we do. Kristen
and I have a weird little food related thing. So sometimes we'll go to a restaurant. I have sometimes decision regret or
fatigue. It's hard to choose.
It's decision fatigue, or
or
buyer's remorse. Maybe you order a dish and then you wish you'd ordered something else or whatever.
Plate envy.
Plate envy. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. And so sometimes Kristen and I will intentionally go in a restaurant, and she'll pick one. We always discuss what we're going to eat.
Yeah, never order the same thing. And we never order the same thing. And
then,
my mom and I do that too.
Yeah, and then it's we eat halfway, and then we swap plates and eat the rest. And so you get a little bit of each. That's kind of it's a fun. You're not eating more than you normally would.
I could say I
go with friends and order a bunch of different stuff. And share.
I've done that
sharing.
too.
Yeah, I've scoffed at Travis though, because I've ordered something and then he turned around and ordered the exact same thing, and then I was like, no, don't get that, get something else, and then we'll share. And he looks at me like,
what?
Share?
Yes,
yeah.
I know. Lots of people don't share.
Weird. But Jason's family does the same thing. Like, everybody will order something different. I go out to eat with them a lot. And we will all order something different, and we'll swap around plates or share bites.
Here's a bite. Here, you want to try a bite?
We do the bite sharing thing. Where
my
it's kind of
husband
like, if I give you a bite, I'm kind of expecting a
bite from yours.
That's why I'm offering a bite, because I want to taste your food.
Well, my coworker and I do that too. Like, we'll go out to lunch, or we have breaks on different days. So one of us will go get something one day, and then another will go get another thing, and then we'll both sit down, and then she'll sneak her fork over, and she'll be like, "Can I try a bite?"
Yeah.
And I'll be like, "Yeah, yeah." And then she forces a bite on me, whether I like it or not.
Right. Sometimes it's good, because that's a good way to try something that you might not have tried before. You don't want to commit to the whole plate because you don't know if you're going to like it or not. But you can taste that little bite of somebody else's and go, "Oh, that was pretty good. I might get that the next time."
Yeah, well, it is a really cool thing to try new things, especially if you go into a restaurant that you've never been before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I guess, one thing I do love about Jason's family is that they're all willing to try new things, and Jason as well. I drag him along to everything.
Yeah.
And I love his willingness to do things like that.
Well, and we do shared, not just, here, you have my plate, I'll take your plate, or here's a bite. But we also do, like, if we go to Chinese food restaurants or Thai food restaurants or something, a lot of times, traditionally that food would have been served family style anyway. And so, we kind of used to go to places where it was served family style, not each person gets their own dish. So sometimes when we go to those, we actually order family style and put it in the middle of the table, and then everybody dishes it up family style. And that way you get kind of a variety of foods, like at the Chinese food restaurant or whatever, because who wants to order the whole crispy aromatic duck for themselves? Nobody. You're going to order it and share, So that I like doing that. But we've had people go to restaurants with us, and we start to order like that, and they're like, "I'm not doing that. I'm going to order my own food."
Yeah, we've literally had people that are just like, I'm not going to share with you guys.
Yeah, it's very, and I feel like it's weird that they don't. Yeah.
No, I think it's just that some people are raised to not touch
other people's food,
utensils, or not touch each other's food.
But we eat family style here, so when we eat at a restaurant, to me it's no different. We're eating family style a lot of times.
Oh, here's a weird thing that Travis does that I was never raised with. When we play games, we always roll to see who goes first. Or based on what the
rules say.
It's usually rolling to go first. And Travis always does age first. So Raina always starts first.
Jason's family does age first also.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Oh,
I think my family does the roll.
We've probably talked about this on holiday traditions, but I think it's weird when everyone in the family opens the gifts at the same time.
Oh, me too.
Like a tornado of gift opening. That's weird to me.
Yes.
And
My family always
did
turns. Age order,
Yeah. Mark's family opened all the gifts all at the same time, and I would always wait till everybody was through opening their gifts, because I wanted to see people open the gifts that I gave them, and I wanted to see what everybody else got. So I would just wait till the end. And in my family, we did it by age order, youngest to oldest, and you open one present at a time until you ran out. My first husband's family did it age order, but it was one person,
all their gifts.
All of their gifts. So the youngest child, which in some ways that makes sense, because the kids have a very short attention span.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit there, so they're just hurrying up and getting them done so they can go off and play. But at the same time, I like making the kids sit there through the whole thing, because they learn that patience and the respect and it keeps them engaged with the family.
And they get a moment to revel in their new gift too
before they open the next
everybody
thing.
Can look at the gift.
Yes.
Yeah, my family did that also.
I love doing that, so it's fun.
My family also had and I don't know if we talked about this during Christmas traditions or not, but our tradition was that we would always give a food gift.
Mm.
And I think I might have mentioned that.
Yes, you did.
And that was in
handmade gifts, I think.
Yeah, handmade gifts, a food gift. Yeah.
Yeah, I've given lots of handmade gifts too. I do like those. But yeah, I give handmade gifts and sometimes food gifts as well. I don't know if anybody else in my family does though. Now, one weird thing that we used to do when we lived in Lubbock, and Lubbock is a much smaller, even though there's a lot of sprawl, you can get all the way across the city of Lubbock in like 8 minutes because of the way the highways are built and everything is like grid style with a big loop around it.
My
so you
favorite thing about Lubbock.
I know. The only good thing about no, that is not true. But it was really well designed. And so on like one of the weekends before Christmas or whatever, and I know we're all past Christmas and everything, and I've talked about this before, that we would take around our handmade gifts, and my husband would take around a bottle of scotch and just share a toast. And that's kind of unusual because he would go to visit all of his friends in one night, and wish them a Merry Christmas. And so that I think that was a little bit different. We quit doing that when we moved out here though, because the Metroplex is so huge and it takes so long to get anywhere.
Traffic.
It's just impossible to do something like that.
Okay. Kristen, you have anything else you want to talk about? Okay, so what are we talking about next week? Kristen, you're the hostess.
So next week we are talking Lord of the Rings versus Harry Potter. So if you remember last season, we did one on Star Wars versus Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Did we do any other ones like that?
No, just Star Wars.
Just the Star Wars.
So another nerd versus nerd conversation. So I'm excited to see where that one goes because those are two completely different things in my opinion. So
okay, so now we know what we're talking about next week. We'd like to give special thanks to Red Door Studios, Creative Audio Tech, for our music and recording equipment. And we'd also like to say thank you to our loyal listeners. So if you have not checked out our blogs, you need to go to modernmusings.net, because if you're just listening to the podcast, you're only hearing part of the story. So check us out, show us some love on social media, give us a good review. If you're enjoying this podcast, give us a great review.
That's right.
Yes. And we will
be back next week.
Yeah, be back next week. I was going to say see you next time. Be back next week. Bye.